Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 10-day challenge, the Spring into Health. I know what you've done these past, the Sunday was, the past Sunday, not Sunday before, was Easter. So I saw the amount of candy that was disappearing in the aisles at Walgreens and Publix, and it's just pretty amazing how much, what a market it is for us. Almost $3 billion this year for candy. That's just candy alone. That doesn't count any other Easter basket presents or anything like that. So always good time. I mean, like I said, I believe in, if it's a holiday, enjoy your family, enjoy it. We celebrate with food and alcohol, unfortunately. So, have a good time and enjoy. And this gives us always the time to clean back up. So we know that sugar is not good for us, but we're going to kind of get you back onto your wellness journey. And, we have to always have a starting place. I always find that having that plan of action and that accountability is really what makes it a successful program. So here's your challenge. You've got some guidelines to follow on the book. You want to focus on whole, unprocessed foods like your vegetables, your fruits, and your lean proteins. You want to avoid any carbohydrates that are artificial sweeteners, your white refined flours and your sugars, your chemical additives, processed meats, fried foods, caffeine, and soft drinks. We want to try to go away from that. Now, I will let you have coffee on this. I will let you have green tea on this because it's a little bit of caffeine. I'm fine with that, but you can't put the junk in it. If you're going to sweeten it with stevia or monk fruit, I'm okay with that. If you're going to use organic whipping cream, I'm okay with that, but you can't use your fancy creamers. No fancy creamers. That's just too much sugar. And if you're using your coffee and you're still using sugar, you can't have that. So you're going to have to figure out, if you don't like stevia, try monk fruit. It has a not quite as a bitter taste. You're going to be drinking some shakes. You can drink up to 3 a day. Honestly, I usually do one, and I do that in the morning. And then those are all whole food ingredients. So you can get away with putting it in a blender bottle and shaking it that way. The best way I like to do it is, put my almond milk in the blender bottle first, the one with the little metal ball in it. And then I add my powder, and then I add ice on top of that. And then when I put the lid on and shake it, it doesn't stick to the top of the lid. And then when the ice melts, it's the perfect consistency. You're also welcome to do them in the NutriBullet, which I finally got a new NutriBullet. It's amazing. So when you do it in the NutriBullet, you're welcome to put your chia seeds and your flax seeds and your hemp hearts. And we put sesame seed in. We freeze our kale and our spinach when it's kind of going bad. And then you break a chunk of that off and put it in. I always start with my liquid first, then put my powder in, and then I put all my seeds, put the frozen vegetables on top. You don't even taste the spinach and the kale. And then I add either a little bit of some frozen blueberries. We have our own banana palm, so a small piece of the banana can go in there frozen, or a little piece of. I like to stick with the berries because they're lower in sugar. Maybe a little piece of mango, and then put the lid on. Shake it if you have a NutriBullet. Shake it and then blend it, and that should give you a shake that should last you many hours. I like to drink them fresh. The longer they sit, the less I like them. I've done them for so many years. I get really particular. So it's drink it now, get it done. So taking a simple protocol, and most of you are already familiar with it. Supplements throughout the day. We'll go through that in just a second. And you can really lose 10 pounds in 10 days, and that's the challenge. So I will show you how. So first thing we need to do is you need to go in your kitchen, and you know what to look for. And if you haven't done it before, and I know everybody has, you need to get back in there and clean out those all the fruit like dressings and the ketchups and the jellies and the things like that that kind of have slipped in over a period of time, and remove any of those foods that are high in refined sugars, fats, and carbohydrates. Make sure there's no partially hydrogenated soybean oil or high fructose corn syrup in your refrigerator. That's the deadly part right there. Then look in your pantry. So when you go shopping for your vegetables, get some protein, some fruit, have those items on your food list in your possession. So I would suggest buying a couple days in advance. Don't try to buy a whole week's worth. The more fresh your vegetables are, more organic and local they are, the longer they will last because they haven't traveled about the world getting to you. So keep that in mind, and always prepare a few days of meals on hand. So we fixed salmon on Saturday. So we have salmon tonight, and we'll have salmon again tomorrow. That way we have our main, source there. and we can just add it to a salad or have it as a side dish. Make your lifestyle changes. So getting more sleep, minimum 6 to 7 hours, 8 hours if you can get it. We're such a busy nation. I think, 6 to 7 hours is our normal. If you're not tracking sleep or anything like that, use your Fitbit. We use an Aura ring, Oura, and it ports to your phone. It's a really good way to look at how well you're sleeping, how much you're moving, how much REM sleep you have, how much deep sleep you have, how much no sleep you have. And so it gives you a kind of a time to go to bed. So it'll say, okay, your suggested bedtime is this for you to get, since you consistently get up at this time, it'll kind of recommend that. Not that we don't know that. Getting 10,000 steps in a day and being more active. I don't want you sitting too long. I should make you get up and run in place while you watch this. All right. So really, to make this successful journey, we're going to eat throughout the day to help maintain your blood sugar level, especially if this is new to you. Most of you, you won't have to do that because you are used to that. You're going to eat twice as many vegetables as fruit. That helps to increase your fiber, and there's full of antioxidants. And also add a mixed green salad in with your lunch and your dinner. And then try some different veggies. Look at some veggies from the colors of the rainbow. And remember, when we talk about fruit and vegetables, the only difference in vitamins in the fruits and vegetables is really the sugar is the difference in the two. So try to stay more veggies than fruit while you're doing the 10-day blood sugar. That's pretty key, especially if you're on a weight management program, especially if you had too much of the Easter candy. And then make sure you drink water. You can basic way to do it is divide your body weight in half, and that'll give you the approximate number of ounces of water to drink in a day. So that's kind of a guideline that it's not set in stone. Some people drink more, some people drink less. Remember, if you're putting liquid in your shake, you're drinking that. If you're eating a lot of cruciferous vegetables, there's a lot of water in vegetables, so you're also getting your hydration that way as well. So we always have to talk about toxins, and that's why we use the SP cleanse, because we are just inundated with chemicals in our world, not only in the foods that we eat, but the air that we breathe. From the time we put our feet on the ground in the morning and brush our teeth and, wash our hair if we're not using good products. So we have a system already set up designed to take care of this. It just wasn't really designed to, take care of all the stuff we loaded up with. So we have a metabolic detoxing system in our body, and it will make those endogenous and exogenous the toxins will then be able to be managed. So we have 3 phases of that. The phase 1 is to unlock it. So that makes really stored fat soluble transformed into more kind of an unlocked state, makes them a little more water soluble. Good thing it does that, but the bad thing is it then makes them, those toxins that were toxic, even more toxic than they were to begin with. So then we have to go into a phase 2 neutralize, and we have to, make those highly toxic substances then go away. So then we have to get them out of the system, and that phase 3 is what eliminates it. And the water-soluble toxins then leave your cells, and your body gets to eliminate them through sweat, through urine, through your lymph. And a body, like I said, the body has that system already built in. It's just not designed to handle what we've given it. And here's what we get handled. These are cleaning products, secondhand smoke. And I say this all the time. When I leave the house early in the morning to go out for a ride, I can smell somebody smoking in their house. If I can smell it, I'm ingesting it. So, dyes and paints and plug-ins that you put in the wall, heavy metals, air and water pollutants, your pesticides and insecticides. You may not spray your lawn, but your neighbor may. So if they're spraying your lawn, you're going to get exposed to it as well as your pet. So we also, when those exogenous toxins come in, then we also have endogenous toxins that are formed by carbon dioxide, free radicals, and ammonia. So they're everywhere. 80,000 chemicals are registered for use by the FDA. 800 million pounds of herbicides are used per year, and 167 industrial chemicals are found in people that are not even around that industry. So that's why I always say you are what they ate and you are what you eat. So keep that in mind as you go through the 10-day. If you haven't thought about it before, sometimes the first time you do the 10-day, it's like, oh, all you can do is concentrate on what you have to do. If you've done it a couple times, take time to listen to your body when you eat certain foods, and your body may say, hey, that may be good food for me, but it doesn't feel good to me. So listen to your body a little bit as I've just found foods over the years that my body really doesn't like. So it doesn't mean I can't eat them. It just means my body doesn't feel good when I do eat them. So most everybody's doing the blood sugar. I have a couple people doing the detox balance. So we're going to go through those two. I don't have anybody doing inflammation. I'm the only one I think doing inflammation. So maybe Tina, I think she did inflammation. She's finished though. All right, so the Veggie Complete Pro chocolate and vanilla. So that's the powder you're going to be using. I'm really sad, but they don't make the Veggie Pro packets anymore because we love to travel with those. It made it super easy. So we just have to prep a little bit ahead of time. But it's essentially a whole food nutrition and a convenient powder. So that gives you everything you need. You could do it as a replacement shake. I don't recommend to do that for all 3 meals. Because I want you eating vegetables. I want you eating food. This is not just a shake program. It's not like a Nutrisystem or anything like that. But this provides you your amino acids, your essential fatty acids, and your other vitamins. It gives you good support for your intestines, your immune health. Also has antioxidant activity, supports your liver health. Also gives you normal elimination of toxins. And the Veggie Pro has sesame seed protein, pumpkin seed protein, and yellow pea protein. So you're getting a really good plant-based protein powder. So I've been trying to be a little bit more plant-based. That doesn't mean I'm a totally vegan, and like we had a little bit of fish tonight, but mostly for the day, I try to do mostly vegan. And some days I do all vegan days, but I've found that just my body feels a little bit better, not doing quite so much, and using it more as a condiment, a little side dish rather than as a main course. So kind of experiment with that as you go. And remember, during this 10-day program, you don't have to limit your protein. That's only on the 21-day. So we don't have anybody using SP Complete, but the Veggie Pro has some of these things in there too. It has the barley grass, the rice, the buckwheat, the flax, I know, I'll fix that. I'm sorry. Alfalfa, and the Veggie Pro has most all of you are using that. So there's no cow juice in that. Just wanted to remind you of that. So the SP Cleanse, this is really, really the key for cleaning out the liver. And because sugar inundates the liver, this is why we always attack the liver when we do a 10-day. So we want to use these unique whole foods and botanical ingredients. There's 20 of them in this SP Cleanse. It helps with the kidney, the liver, supports the gallbladder, encourages healthy elimination, healthy digestion function, and also getting rid of the normal elimination of toxins. And it has let's see, I've got a slide on that. There we are. So in the SP Cleanse, we have all these wonderful things. The key is the Spanish black radish root, and that's really the key thing that really puts us into that phase 2 detoxification, that metabolic detoxification, which is what gets all that stuff out of the liver. And that's where we really need that benefit. And not just from the sugar we eat, but from all the things that we breathe in, we clean with, or that are in our foods. So the blood sugar program also uses Gymnema. Gymnema is really, really great at really squelching the sugar cravings. So you do 2 in the morning, 1 and 1. After the program, you're welcome to use it. I have patients that are, still challenged with that afterwards, and we may need to do that a little bit longer. But it really, really helps in sugar metabolism and maintaining energy. Also, supporting any kind of weight management program. Also, decreasing those cravings you have for sugar. Diaplex is the other thing that we have on the blood sugar program, and it really helps with healthy blood sugar handling, helps to maintain blood sugar, helps to keep it in a normal range, encourages healthy blood sugar levels, and also helps keep them normal when you're having a healthy diet. So it has chromium, which is really important for carbohydrate metabolism, healthy function of the pancreas, also your healthy bowel function too. As far as the products that are in it, it's neat because anything in standard process that has a plex on the end of it means it's a combination of things. So it has something for digestion, it has something for your gallbladder, it has something for your liver, it has something for your pituitary, and also your pancreas. So it was just a really mindful blend that they put together. So this is what the protocol looks like for the 10-day blood sugar. 2 scoops of your shake, and that's most of you are doing the Veggie Pro shake. You can have up to 4 scoops on the Veggie Pro. 4 scoops, they're smaller and it's a little lighter weight powder for the product. So you can have 4 scoops Three shakes a day. You don't have to have 3 shakes a day. When you're first doing it, you feel like you're never going to eat again, so you always feel like you have to have those 3 shakes. But as you go along in the program, you'll understand that you're not that hungry. If you're not hungry, you don't have to eat, but you try to get at least one of those good shakes in the morning. I like to do it in the morning because then I can take my sups with it. Sometimes I'll do that mid-afternoon if I don't have a chance to. If I'm hungry and I don't really have a chance to go get something to eat, it's just easy to bring a shake with me. The SP Cleanse, you're going to do 5 capsules 3 times a day. For the Diaplex, you're going to do 5 capsules 3 times a day. And for the Gym Nemo, you do 2 tablets in the morning, 1 at lunch, and 1 at dinner. So the SP Detox Balance, if you're doing that, it's the powder. Everything's built into the powder. They have a 10-day program and a 28-day program. The 28-day program I make into a 21-day program because some of my patients, 21 days is bad enough. So to go, another 7 days is like, I can't do that. So for the SP Detox Balance for the 10-day, all the products are in it. And that's why they have a chai flavor, which is kind of Apple Jacks, the milk from Apple Jacks cereal taste to me as a kid. But they also have a detox balance that has no flavor to it. And so then you can make it however you want. So it has all your protein in it. It is also vegetable protein, pumpkin concentrate, oat flour. It's got some buckwheat flour. Great for the phase 2 enzymes. So all your black Spanish radish is in there. That's why they had to flavor it, because that's such a strong, powerful source of foods. I've tasted them, and it's like a red radish or a horseradish on steroids. So it's pretty powerful. It's got a lot of good plant-based magnesium, and it's gluten-free and vegan. So I give you no excuses. You know that. So the SP Detox Balance, you can, mix it up, take it with you. It's organic. It's just, Standard Process has really stepped up their game and providing us products that are just amazing for us as physicians to help support our patients and ourselves too. When I work with other doctors, I always tell them, if you're not taking care of you, how can you take care of a patient? If it's not good enough for you, why is it not good enough for them? Or why should it be? So for me, I think it's really important that you understand that I really practice what I preach, and I do the programs with you just like you're doing them, because I want you to know you're supported. Plus, it's always a good thing to do. So the detox balance, you can mix it with water, you can mix it with almond milk, whatever you desire. You can put it in a blender. It's good as a standalone. The chai without a flavor, the detox balance without the flavor, it's fine. You can mix it with water. It's not offensive. It's just, kind of no taste at all. So you may want to mix it with a couple scoops of the vanilla or chocolate Veggie Pro. So, you can do your shakes on a go. You can have, a couple reusable, blender bottles, put the powder in, and just take them with you. Whenever you go, you can either add water to them and some ice, or, keep some almond milk at work, and then you can mix up your own on the go, so that you have no need to, not have your shake. So you don't really need to do a blender if you don't want to. I always recommend at least maybe 1 shake in the morning, putting all your veggies in there and your extra seeds to really give you a good start for the day. So on the page 15 of the red blood sugar book, the 10-day program food list. So if you have that book, you can turn it to. If you don't have it, put it in your chat. We'll send you a PDF. We'll email it to you. But the serving size is 1/2 cup for your vegetables. Your target is 13 to 15 servings per day. If you're hungry after that, there's a problem. Starchy vegetables, you can have them 1/2 cup, but limit to 1 serving per day. Why would that be? Exactly, because starchy are going to have more sugar in them. We're trying to watch your sugar. So on your fruit, which is on page 16, 1/2 cup to 3/4 cup, use it in your shakes only. So I don't want you eating a handful of grapes or a handful of this and that. You may have some berries, you may have some strawberries, and I would stay with that because it's lower on the glycemic index. So there's less sugar in it, so the body doesn't have to process it so heavy. A banana is a very high in sugar. We've talked about those before. So protein serving size is 3 ounces, and about the size of your palm should be about 3 ounces, and that's probably about 25 grams of protein, 2 to 3 servings per day. Serving size for your miscellaneous things like your oils and things like that, 2 teaspoons, 2 to 3 servings per day. You can have your organic butter, your grass-fed, grass-finished butter. Well, the butter's not grass-finished, but cows are, but you know what I mean. Your coconut oils, your MCT oils, your olive oils, extra virgin olive oils. If you're going to use an oil, make sure it's expeller pressed. No vegetable oils, no canola oil. If you're going to have a sunflower, you can have it limited. You can have sesame. Make sure that says expeller pressed and it's organic. Those are really key because I don't want you getting a bunch of junk in your body while you're trying to clean yourself up here. And your beverages, you can stay with filtered water. You can do mineral or spring water, green tea, herb teas. I do buble. I like it. I like the cherry. You know, you're fine doing that. You can do just plain old water. So keep that in mind. No sodas, diet sodas, anything like that. So your vegetables, I mean, it's, you know, it's what we should be doing. So it shouldn't be a surprise. So you can have, you know, raw vegetables, you can steam your vegetables, you can roast your vegetables, you can puree your vegetables, however you want, but I don't want you doing any juicing. You can do a vegetable juice, but if you're going to do carrots, we wouldn't want to do that because or carrots and beets because they're very high in sugar. So, you know, be mindful of that. If you want to do celery juice, go for it. Not my favorite, but you can have it. Fruits, once again, you want to stay with those lower glycemic fruits, which would be your berries. You know, apples are okay, but they get a little bit high in sugar. So do your grapes, and so does your watermelon, and so does your bananas. So be mindful that mango also is very high in sugar. So no drinking of fruit juices. You can have lean meats, fish, and vegan proteins. Um, I'm not a big satay, which is a vegetable protein. It tastes too processed to me, so I'm not a really big fan. If you can get tofu that is organic, or you know, and is not genetically modified, I'm okay with that. Once again, not my personal favorite, but you're welcome to do that. So keep that in mind. Or you can do some canned fish and seafood, but remember we talked about this in the past. You want to make sure the can says BPA free, bisphenol A free. Those are endocrine disruptors, so we want to make sure they're not in our containers that we're eating our foods out of because we're trying to detox and we're adding toxins. So be mindful of that. So stay away from your sausages and your canned meats and your cold cuts and and no hot dogs. Okay, I have horror stories on that. I could tell you. I'll save you from that this time. So you can have eggs. Make sure they're free range, that not cage free. Free range. They've got to be running around in Dr. Sunshine eating bugs and grass like they're supposed to. A lot of people feed them grains, but they're not giving them non-GMO grains. So be mindful of that where you get your eggs. No sodas, no fruit juices, no energy or sports drinks or anything like that. No BPA in the packaging. And if you think you have an allergy and you have an allergy to eggs in particular, don't eat eggs. You know your body. So, what I do find is as we do a 10-day, more so on the 21-day, we really find out what foods we do have some allergic responses to. So you've got all these good fats. You've got avocado, chia seeds, coconut oil, coconut milk, flaxseed oil, ghee, which is clarified butter, grapeseed oil, extra virgin olive oil, sesame oil. And, I don't want you using any yogurt right now. And I'll let you have some seeds. And I'll let you have a few nuts, but just be careful with them because I don't want you to make a meal out of nuts. So this is what your plate should look like during the challenge. So mostly vegetables, a little bit of protein, and the rest will be your fats and your carbohydrates. So how much sugar should you really have a person really have in a day? Well, for women, it's 6 teaspoons per day. Teaspoons, not tablespoons. For men, it's 9. They always get more. It's just not fair. And so what that translates to is what most people do is 26 teaspoons of sugar each day. And 26 teaspoons of sugar each day transforms into 88 pounds of sugar per person each year. And if I'm not eating that much and you're not eating that much, somebody's eating our share as well. So that's a lot of sugar. If you can imagine just taking, 5-pound bags and stacking them up, I mean, it's just a monstrous amount of sugar for one. That's for one person. That's not for a whole family. That's one person. So, we talk about why sugar is so bad for us. You always hear me say it's not the fat that makes you fat, it's the sugar that makes you fat. But more importantly, especially as we age, and for me, as I've gotten older, longevity and healthy aging is super important. And so when I look at that, I think of my brain. because your brain is the master of everything. It's your master computer that runs your body. And if it can't run efficiently and run well, your body can't run well. So we need to know what the effects of the sugar are. So I want to really talk about a little bit of this today. So how sugar really negatively affects our brain. It's an addiction. When we eat and drink foods high in sugar, it makes almost a drug-like effect on the brain, and it leads to a sugar addiction. According to the research in the Journal of Clinical Nutrition and Metabolic Care, sugar appears to have a drug-like effect, which is similar to those caused by addictive drugs. And the one that they really compare it to is cocaine. So here, let me see if I can get this to play for us here. I don't think I don't remember if I, here, hold on. So let's see. Oops, sorry, I was trying to, okay, so now I find out that there's no sound here for you. So I just figured out there's no sound. So I will send you the link for this because I don't know if you can see the picture. I can't see a chat here. So I'm just going to move on from that. And then because I think that this is really super important that you see the just actual effects on the brain of the rats. So what happens is we have decreased cognition. High sugar also impairs cognitive function. And animal studies indicate that high sugar really impairs normal brain function, just normal brain function. And what do we feed our kids in the morning when we send them to school? We're feeding them sugar, and then we expect them to be able to learn for the day. And then I can't tell you how many patients come in trying to do the right thing. They're having yogurt with fruit on top and maybe a glass of orange juice and maybe some oatmeal. Well, those are all foods that turn into sugar in the body. Whether it's a good sugar or a bad sugar, it still converts as a sugar. So the other thing that can happen is it can cause tension. Reaching for a sugary treat is thought to increase the energy, but sugar really actually zaps the energy. But if you have a fruit, it won't do the same thing. So be mindful of that. But they've treated people with 18 people that were rated their tiredness, energy, and tension after eating a candy bar or walking briskly for 10 minutes. And they found that the group that walked reported higher levels of energy and lower levels of tension. So there's that exercise thing you always hear me talking about. So exercise is always much better than grabbing the Snickers bar. Keep that in your thought process there. So depression, too much sugar is a big contributing factor to depression. I talk to patients all the time that, they can't figure out why they just can't get out of that hole, but they're eating the same foods that are putting them in that hole. So make sure that when you look at the foods that you eat, or even somebody that's around you, it'll be evident to you that somebody has some depression issues by just their diet that they eat. So the results are indicating that high sugar rates of sugar or that consumption causes higher rates of depression. So, but fruits don't. So there is a benefit in fruits. Just during this 10-day, I want you to watch your fruit intake because of the weight management. And dementia. Dementia it's a complex illness, and physiologically and genetic and nutritional elements all play a role in it. But now they're finding that the Journal of Gerontology says that most models of dementia are due to excess sugar consumption, and they're actually calling Alzheimer's type 3 diabetes. So It's a little scary especially if you look at the research that I see. I try to take everything that I read and put it into little tiny spigots of stuff in it, but it's mind-boggling. It's really actually kind of scary because there's a whole um, uh, underworld that is keeping the sugar in our diets, and then we have no choice to be able to take it away. So I'll go into that next week, but I think that'll be a big eye opener when you find out who's keeping the sugar in our diets rather than taking out when they know this evidence. So when we talk about dementia, also there's 9 ways to reduce your risk. The 1 in 3 cases of dementia could be prevented by addressing these lifestyle factors, and it's increasing education, physical activity, and social contact, decreasing hearing loss. So people that can't hear are more likely to have dementia. The more sights or the more senses you take away, the more likely that person is to get dementia. Hypertension, obesity, smoking, depression, and diabetes. So the insulin reaction that sugar causes also deposits those beta amyloid proteins in the brain, which is increases that risk for the Alzheimer's and dementia. Memory. So memory impairment can develop for several different reasons, all by lifestyle choices, all by eating too much sugar. Memory and nutrition have a huge link. And like I said, we send our kids to school eating cereal, and even the school programs that provide lunches, they're providing cereals. They're not providing a healthy lunch. It's inexpensive. So they feed the kids and they're feeding them junk, and then they can't figure out why the teachers can't get them to sit still. But hopefully through COVID last year, parents got to realize that, oh, if I feed my kids these things, they can't sit still, and maybe they made some better diet choices. So sugar is as addictive to as cocaine is. So you can see down in the normal category, you see what the brain looks like, and then you can look at the cocaine brain, how that whole area in the brain then starts to get lit up, and you can see in somebody that's obese, that's eating a lot of sugar, you can see the same thing there. Now I have another video, and I'm going to play it. I don't know if you can hear it. So let's see what happens here. So what they're saying is that the rats were given a choice of water or cocaine water. Sugar water or cocaine. 43 rats were given that diet. All of them went to the sugar water, and only 3 went to the cocaine. So they're just saying that sugar is addictive as cocaine, that it's an addiction, that they had no choice. So I will try to get these clips to you as well. I'll send them to you in the morning. So they're just showing how sugar lights up the brain just like cocaine, and it's really scary. So they're saying if you start a baby, sugary things like formulas have a ton of carbohydrates in them in the form of sugar. So we're starting the babies early. So I will try to send you that link so you can see the video there. So this is what a brain should look like. You have a choice here. You want your brain to look like the one on the left or the one on the right. So the one on the left is a healthy brain. The one on the right is not. So this area, I don't know if you can see my pointer. Let's see if I can so let me make a little laser pointer here. So this area right here is the hippocampus. This is the hippocampus on a brain that is not healthy. So let me get rid of that. And try to get rid of that. So what we're saying now, or what we're finding out research-wise, is that to keep your brain healthy, you need to eat your foods like spinach, some black-eyed peas, some broccoli, and decrease the amount of animal protein that you're eating. The more animal protein we are ingesting is also another cause for advanced Alzheimer's. So I'm not saying you can't have animal protein, but for me, I've tried to do more like 75% of my protein comes from plant-based, and the other 25% comes from animal. And then, like I said, I have some days where I do no animal protein at all. So we want you to be nutrient wealthy, healthy, and wise. So here's kind of a couple things you can call. We call these G bombs. That's your greens, your berries, your onions, your mushrooms, your beans, and your seeds. And seeds, I also mean nuts. So we want to incorporate those daily in our diets. There was a review of 206 epidemiological studies that the consumption of raw greens were the most consistent and most powerful association with reduction of cancers of all types, including stomach, pancreas, colon, and breast cancer. That's 206 studies. That's a lot of studies out there saying that, hey, maybe we should be a little bit more plant-based and we should, be animal-based. So we want to add those cruciferous vegetables in. And we're talking about our kale and our broccoli, our bok choy, our red cabbages. So those are all foods that our pea greens are also really good. So make sure we incorporate those into our diet every single day. And the cruciferous vegetables. So if you eat regular vegetables, if you increase your intake by 20%, you decrease your cancer risk by 20%. If you eat those list of cruciferous vegetables, which I just showed you, and you increase your intake by 20%, you decrease your risk of cancer by 40%. Right there, that should be a good indicator of, let's get those in your diet. So mushrooms. Now, I'm not a fan of, we can drive from here to Orlando from our house, and in a summer day, you smell the god-awful smell of the mushroom factories. That's because, I'm going to say a bad word, they use chicken shit to grow the mushrooms. And those are those button mushrooms. I'm not a fan. So I like the shiitake and the shiitake, the portobello, and the crimini. Those are all grown on wood. So there's no chicken shit involved in that. So just my own taste. I'm not saying you don't have to have them, but mushrooms are very, 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 very high and a lot of really great food, functions. So they have an enhanced natural T cell function. They prevent DNA damage. They slow tumor growth. They cause programmed cancer cell death, and they prevent angiogenesis. So, incorporate some mushrooms in your diet every day. So things like when I use like Epiimmune Complex, it has the shiitake and maitake mushrooms, which gives us all these very big factors that we need. So I give those to my patients who are maybe trying to be more preventive for breast cancer or have had breast cancer and have gone through treatment, but now they want to maintain some good health. So we do this to help maintain that. Onions and garlic reduces risk of all common cancers, 56% less colon cancer, 73% ovarian and prostate cancer, 88% less esophageal cancer, 50% less stomach cancer. That's by taking half a cup per day. You don't have to eat all day long, but just incorporate that put it in your salad. For dinner tonight, Marianne roasted up a bunch of garlic. We won't eat the whole thing tonight, but we'll have a few, and she just put them in butter and stuck them in the oven. They're awesome. So if it makes you cry, the allanase in that makes it better. So the onions that make you cry are what you want. It inhibits angiogenesis, detoxifies carcinogens, and also acts as an anti-inflammatory for arthritis. Pomegranates. Now, I'm not talking about the pom juice because we don't want to do the juice, but pomegranates are antioxidant, anti-carcinogen, and anti-inflammatory. They help prevent cancer, diabetes mellitus, cardiovascular disease, erectile dysfunction, bacterial infections, antibiotic resistance, and UV skin damage. They lower blood pressure, cancer prevention, especially breast, prostate, colon, and leukemia, prevent platelet clumping and atherosclerosis, reduce kidney infections, and also heart patients with severe blockages. 1 ounce of pomegranate seeds per day for 1 year, they had 20% less, their blood pressure dropped 20%, and they had 30% less plaquing. That's pretty significant. And that's just with foods that we eat. That's why you always hear me say food is your pharmacy. Berries. So they work like cruciferous vegetables. They transform damaged DNA back into the near normal. Rats after they've tested rats after chemical carcinogens they've added to the body, then they give them berries after. It reduces cancers at many sites. Now, just on a side note here, I think if you remember last year, I talked to you about Kings Grove blueberries. So they will be coming to Winter Park office on Monday, and they'll do every Monday till the season ends for about an hour and a half. You can order them ahead of time. I will get you the information. They haven't put it out yet, but that information, then you can order them online and you can pick them up in Winter Park. If you live in Eustis area, I'll put all the directions on there to where to go. They are amazing and they are totally organic. Hugh Kent, who's one of our patients and is the farmer, he is passionate about, he will tell you more that you want to know about blueberries. He's passionate about his soil, his plants, how he takes care of them. We went out there to pick some berries up and I'm like, oh, that's so cool. You could hear these, predator bird, predator birds. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool. I'm looking around. I can't see any hawks or anything, but he's piping that music in to keep the other little birds that eat the blueberries away. And he's got the little, men that kind of fly up and down, has kites flying. So I thought it was really cool that he did, kind of organic sources to really keep his crops safe. So berries, I'll let you know more information on that, but just kind of keep your mindset on that. You will love them. They're amazing. So we order extra and we always freeze them so we have them a longer period of time. So berries will include blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, acai berries, goji berries, elderberries, and strawberries. Nuts and seeds. So, in those G bombs, the S is seed, but I do like to include nuts in that. So we want a high fat diet. Problem only if the fat is from animals. So we want to get a lot of our fat from avocado, extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil, from nuts and seeds. For all populations, genders, and ages, as nut consumption increases, death from all causes decreases. Overall lifespan increases. Like I said, for me, my main passion is longevity. As I've gotten older, I see what patients have done that have done it right, and I see what happens to patients that have not done it right. And I want to choose the best way to do that. So that's why I do the research for you ahead of time. So I just want to show you these things because, if you look at like just regular potato chips, Lay's potato chips, the classic potato chips, they have 15 grams of carbohydrates in 1 ounce serving. If you get something like a barbecue, it's 16 grams. So they're adding sugars to that. But if you bake them, we take the fat out of them. So you can see that the other ones have 10 grams and 9 grams of fat. But if you go to the baked ones, look at the barbecue ones, look at the amount of stuff that they put in them. So you have your corn, your sunflower corn, your canola oil. So we already know those are bad. It has sugar, dextrose, maltodextrin, molasses. So we have all those sugars in there. And then if we look over at the ingredients on the baked, it's dried potatoes, cornstarch, sugar, corn oil, salt, and corn sugar. And it's a potato chip, mind you. But look at the amount of carbohydrates in just 1 ounce of the baked. So people think, oh, I'm doing better because I'm eating the baked. So this is why I want you to be careful with the foods that you're eating, because we don't have control of what they're putting in them. So, make your own, get an air fryer and do your own potatoes. This is a McDonald's hamburger, so a Big Mac. So look at how many grams of carbohydrates are in a Big Mac, 47 grams. I mean, I don't eat, I eat between 50 and 75 grams of carbohydrates a day. That would blow my whole day just eating that. And I probably would be sick afterwards. And then of course we got to add in our Chick-fil-A. So Chick-fil-A has 40 grams of carbohydrates. So it's not much better if we're using chicken over a Big Mac. So this is why I want you to be careful when you do your fast foods. That's why I want you to stay away from them, because the bun has sugar in it, the breading has sugar in it, the toppings have sugar in it. So we're just become inundated with it. So we've talked about diseases of sugar. There's 3. The top 3 are heart disease, obesity, and diabetes. And all of you, we've talked about this before, and I know you know this information, but remember, cholesterol is not the perpetrator. It's just found at the scene of the crime. So we don't want to blame always the animal fat. And I know it sounds it's perplexing because, studies come out saying that animal fat is bad. Studies come out saying plant-based protein is better. I find just trying to find a blend that works best for you. And that's kind of what I do for me. So this is what an artery looks like when it gets clogged up. So all the yellow stuff, that's the low density lipoproteins, the bad fat, and it clogs up the artery, and you see how it narrows. So this is what we talk about when we talk about the plaquing in the arteries. This is exactly what it looks like. So the more, the worse your diet is with those fats that are the trans fats and the canola oils and the vegetable oils, this is what happens to your arteries. It's a choice. You can make it. You can either have arteries like this or nice, slick, clean arteries. So sugar damages your arteries, increases your blood pressure, and ages your organs. Eating too much sugar is at the top of the list of the growing number of patients that have heart disease. I don't want you to have that. That's why I preach this all the time. Uh, Dr. Steven Sinatra, he's the one that kind of came up with this research. He's a cardiologist. He's been a cardiologist for probably 40 years now. And he said, in place of all the sugar, redo your food pyramid. So instead, in the bottom, have tons of vegetables, a little bit of meat, some berries, a little bit of nuts, cheese, a little bit of butter, and you can have your coffee. So obesity, we know it's just a major problem. Increased sugar consumption drives fat storage. And it just goes on and on. It's just sad. This is Lake County. So in Lake County, we have adults that are healthy weight are 32%. The adults that are overweight or obese are 64%. And if we break it down, 32% are overweight and 32% are obese. And then if you look down a little bit lower, it says adults who are inactive or insufficiently active, 58.4%. On Lake Orange County, don't think I didn't think about you. So healthy weight is 35%, 35.4%. Overweight or obese are 62.2%. And if you divide those up, 34.8% are overweight, and 27.5% are obese. 56.9% are inactive. So move. We have to move. And this is what it looks like. So we build up fat around the organs. You can see how it displaces the organs. Look at the liver. This is a fatty liver. Liver should not be yellow. And you can see how the fat goes all around the organs there, and the nice cozy layers on the outside of the skin. We live in Florida. We don't need that. If you were in Alaska, I could understand it. Not in Florida. Diabetes is the third thing that happens. We have type 1, which you're born with. Type 2 is what most people acquire. And they say, well, my dad had type 2. Well, your dad had type 2 because he ate a crappy diet. You have type 2 because you're following your dad's diet. So remember that those are genes that we can change. Gestational is only when you're pregnant, and only women can get that if they're able to have a baby or be able to be pregnant. And then, like I said, now they're calling type 3 diabetes as Alzheimer's. So all the added sugar and the high fructose corn syrup is the cause of this, and it's just running rampant. I'll give you numbers next week, but I wanted to kind of give you an overview tonight. So if you're not happy doing this the first week, don't worry. You're going to have some detoxing to do, because remember, the SP cleanse is your detox part of your liver. So you'll have a withdrawal from your caffeine, and hopefully you're not smoking. And I'm letting you have caffeine, so you shouldn't have too much of withdrawal for that. So most of it will be temporary fatigue, some weakness, headaches maybe occur from not having the sugar, and being mad that you can't have the sugar is probably more the problem, and gas. Yep, you're going to get some. It'll pass, pun intended. So I wanted to show you what the cost of what I call risky behavior is when we eat. So the Scientific American Journal did this study back in 2013, and they narrowed it down to microlife. So 1 microlife equals 30 minutes of your life gained or lost. So up at the top in the blue, you see exercise. The first 20 minutes, you get 2 microlife. So you get 60 minutes added back onto your life. If you add another 40, for every 40 minutes you add on, you get another microlife. So if you exercise for 60 minutes, you get 3 microlives. If you eat fruits and vegetables, 1 to 5 servings a day, you get 1 microlife. If you have an alcoholic drink, 1 drink, you get 1 microlife gained. But if you come down to the bottom, if you have more than that, you lose a microlife. So we don't want to do that. If you eat a lot of red meat, you lose a microlife. If you smoke, you lose 3 microlives for every cigarette you smoke. If you're sitting for 2 hours without activity, you lose 1 microlife. Being overweight each day you're 4 kilograms above your optimum weight, or 8 pounds above your optimum weight, you lose another microlife. So you have a choice you can add to your life by exercising, by eating well, having 1 glass of wine, or you can take away your life. And I can see it all the time. I mean, you can go walk down go to Home Depot. I mean, that's almost a scary thing to see. You can see who's really building their micro lives, and you can see who's burning them out the other end quicker than they can even think about it. So I want you to be mindful of that. I want you to add life to yourself. Doing a program like this adds to your life. It increases your micro lives. I want to see that. I want you around for a long time. And what I see happening is people work really hard. They eat a crappy diet. They get 65. They go to retire. Then they live the next 20 years in chronic disease. I don't think that we should do that. I want to get in when I'm 65, still feeling great, and be able to live the next 20 to 30 years in a quality, functional life. I just raced on Sunday, and I mean, there's these old guys out there that are, 80, 78 and 80 years old. I mean, they burn it up on a bike, and, they look amazing. And you think how many micro lives they have. So how many micro lives do you want to add to your life in a day? So the possibility of death has been holding steady at 100% for quite some time now. Dr. T. Colin Campbell, who wrote did the China study, he says, I have often met people who use this fact to justify their ambivalence toward health information, but I take a different view. I've never pursued health hoping for immortality. Good health is about being able to fully enjoy the time we do have. It's about being as functional as possible throughout our entire lives and avoiding crippling, painful, and lengthy battles with disease. I want to rock, roll, slam, slide, hit the wall, and say, damn, what a good ride. I do not want to creep and tiptoe to my death. And that's kind of what he's saying. You want to be able to live and play. We work hard to get to our retirement. And then what do? Sit in a chair and not be able to go anyplace or do anything because we're crippled with disease. It's your choice. So remember, types of carbohydrates. You have healthy carbs and you have unhealthy carbs. Green vegetables, we talked about the cruciferous vegetables, your fruits and your whole grains, your beans, your legumes, your sweet potatoes, your yams. They take longer for the body to process. They stabilize blood sugars. They're great sources of fiber. They can contain a ton of phytonutrients, minerals, and vitamins. Unhealthy carbs have none of that. They have no fiber. They break down in sugar super fast. They're found in all your processed foods. In large amounts are associated with obesity and chronic disease outcomes. And we pay for that. If you're not taking care of yourself, you're going to have Medicare or you're going to have, some kind of a health insurance. Why? I mean, I want to not even have to use it. I want to have the bare minimum. So the high carbohydrate diet I put you on 20 years ago gave you diabetes, high blood pressure, and heart disease. Oops. This is what's happening now, is all this bad information or structured information that we got. Don't eat fat. So didn't eat fat, so things tasted crappy, so they put a ton of sugar in it. So, then we get fat, and we're still not eating fat, but we're getting fat. What's going on here? Because it's a sugar. So here's your healthy foods. I mean, this is not rocket science. I mean, if you're not eating one or two of these a day or more, then your diet is not a good diet. So make sure you're incorporating these foods in here. I mean, remember, watch your fruits right now. I mean, we're doing a 10-day blood sugar for a reason. But after that, you can add these back in, but just be mindful, especially if you're trying to maintain some body weight. I mean, a good weight management program. So if you're trying to lose some weight, stay off the fruits the fruits, stay more with vegetables. If you're going to do a fruit, do your berries or lower in the glycemic index. After the 10-day, after you've maintained your weight, you can start adding some of those in, just not all the time and not every day. So your examples of your carbohydrates, once again, not a no-brainer. Oh, it is a no-brainer, sorry. Table sugar, corn syrup, fruit juice, candy, cake, Easter candy, blah, 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 blah. So calories in equal calories out. But, the sugar, we got to look at this. If you're eating a whole food, high fiber, nutrient dense diet, this works. The calories in, the calories out, that works. But when you're eating bad food, it doesn't work. So if you have a head of broccoli, it's 50 calories. If you have half of a Cadbury egg, that's 75 calories. So 6.5 grams of carbohydrates or 25 grams of carbohydrates. And that's a whole lot of broccoli compared to that little Cadbury egg. And I know what you did the past week. So here's what, look at your real egg. There are no carbohydrates in a real egg. But look at your chicken eggs versus your Easter eggs. So 180 calories, 190 calories for one egg, and a real egg only had 70 calories in it. So it's a pretty dramatic change there with your candy there. So if you walk a mile, run a mile, we've talked about this before, you burn approximately 100 calories. So if you go to Starbucks and get your grande caramel macchiato, that's 250 calories. So you've out eaten or out drank your exercise. And that's when people go and reward themselves. So I figured I'd put this up. I try to do this each year when, depending on the holiday, because we did it for Halloween. So I felt it necessary to do it for Easter. So if you had a Cadbury cream egg, you have to walk 50 minutes, 20 minutes of running, 8 minutes of metabolic training, or 13 minutes of burpees. If you ate the big dairy milk egg, then you have to add, because it's twice the solid milk chocolate egg, 1 hour and 15 minutes of walking, 35 minutes of running, 17 minutes of metabolic training, 19 minutes of burpee. And if you did the Mac Daddy, the Ferrero Rocher, 4 hours of walking, 1 hour and 20 minutes of running, 15 to 20 minutes of metabolic training, or 61 burpees a minute, your choice. I'd rather not eat it and have to do all that stuff. So if you just eat 100 calories more than you need per day for 1 year, you gain 10 pounds. So these down below are what 10 calories of Easter candy looked like. Hopefully you just don't have it in your house still. So you can see that's not a lot of candy there for 100 calories. And then you look over to the right, the carrots versus the chips, the grapes versus the honey bun, the apple versus the candy bar, the melon versus the muffin, and the celery versus the pretzel. So anything that's fiber rich and nutrient dense is going to be able to have more bang for its buck than all your processed foods. So drink your water, half your body weight in ounces, exercise, and it's a minimum of 30 minutes per day, and you need to be doing strength and cardiovascular exercise. Throw in some meditation, some deep breathing, maybe do a yoga class, take a walk with a friend, walk at lunch, take the dogs for a walk. They probably would love that. They probably need it just as much as you do. So your plan of action: look at your sugar labels in the refrigerator, clean those out again. They may have crept back in over the holiday. Read your labels. Clean out the high fructose corn syrup in your refrigerator. It's hidden in there, but you'll find it. Provide carbohydrates which are fiber dense and nutrient rich. That's your cruciferous vegetables, your nuts and your seeds. Wait 20 minutes before having a second portion. Let your brain, your hypothalamus has to understand that you've even eaten. If you scarf your food down, your hypothalamus is like, what? You didn't even eat. And it's already saying you need more. So slow down, eat your food, enjoy your food, and let your hypothalamus have a chance to know that you got food in there. Takes a little time for it to register. Start moving. You have a goal of 10,000 steps per day, every day. And try to buy local and organic. You'll find that local and organic foods will last longer in your home. And we go to a Noble Roots farm up in Eustis, and our lettuces will last longer, our vegetables will last longer because they pick them in that morning, and we can last all week. If you pick up the vegetables at the grocery store, though they've been carted there from God knows where, and then they sit in the store for God knows how long before they get to your house, and then they sit in your refrigerator another week. That's why we like to buy local and organic. There's plenty of sources around. And remember, this is your food pyramid now. So I'm sorry, my little things I'll play it, but I'll talk about it. So this is Fed Up. This is a movie that I think everybody watched last time. If you haven't watched it, please take time to watch it. It's a super great movie to really let you understand. It talks about the epidemic of sugar, and the message is pushed on it that it's our fault that we're fat. So I will send you that link as well. So it's on YouTube. So I will make sure that you get that, because I know you can't hear the sound. I'm not sure why that's happening. I'll have to figure that out. All right. So your homework is to watch the Netflix video, Fed Up. It's on, no, I'm sorry, it's not Netflix, my bad. It's YouTube. It's on YouTube. And you watch the movie of it there. I have another one I want you to watch, but I'll give that to you next week. I think the more you can watch that, the more consistent that my message will be to you, that you'll understand it, because we learn by pictures. So seeing the pictures is a big help. But I'll send you those clips in an email tomorrow. So the challenge is on. It's only for 10 days. So we will see you next Monday. We're going to have another class, and then the last class will be on that Thursday. I have so much information to give you, and I don't want to try to push it all into 2 classes. So I've moved it out to having 3 different classes now. So just know that that's happening. So I'll see you next week.